everyone, this is Overpass Live. My name is Eric and I make apps. Apologies for being a few minutes late today. I was trying to render a video. I was trying to render tomorrow's video, and if you've ever done any video editing, you know that when you render it, it like slows down your whole computer and it could take like an hour or sometimes even longer. It's so annoying. I need to beef up my machine, but I was at like 95% like for the last 20 minutes, and then it was like, oh. So finally I had to kill it, so I'm going to start it up again when I leave tonight, because otherwise there's no way I'd be able to do the live stream if I had that. So hopefully you guys can all hear me okay, right? I know it's been a problem the last few weeks, but Bart Rocca's made it. True Dreams is here. Hey, how's it going? Rio's here. Mega Man is fourth. Mega Man, don't like brag about being fourth. I mean, it's only first. That's the one you should do. Actually, I don't know. I've never actually done that before. Making English Fun. Happy Friday. All happy Friday to you. Phil, ciao, Eric and everyone. Ciao, Phil. And Rohan, hey, how's it going? So this week, I wanted to talk to you guys about this, and I thought about making a video about it, but I'm not sure what I'm allowed to say about AdWords. So I think I was talking last week about how I raised the price of my one of my paid apps, or my biggest paid app, to I raised the price, and then I started ads going to it. And the ads were actually working really, really well. So I have I raised the price up. I raised it up to like $8.99, and then I brought it down to $4.99 because I realized that the purchases were going down. So I lowered it a little bit, but the ads were going through, and I put like a target install cost per install, cost per conversion at around $1, and then I actually put it up to like $3. But then I found that my cost per conversions was like really high, like higher than I was making. So then I lowered it down to like 10 cents. I wasn't getting any impressions. And then I went up to 50 cents, and then I went up to $1. And when I got to $1, everything was perfect. It was like, or £1 rather. Can you guys hear me okay? So when I went to like £1, everything was working perfectly. It was like my cost per conversions were like 69p, you know, £1.40, like something like that. So I was making a profit, and it was like, but it was still only spending, even though I set my target budget for like set it for £60 a day, thinking, but I'll put my target install a bit lower. And so what was happening was I was only spending like, you know, £6-7 a day, which was perfect because I was getting all these conversions, and it was perfect. And I thought, I was getting giddy with excitement, thinking, I wish I had done this years ago, and I couldn't wait to tell you guys about it. And then I thought, maybe I won't tell you guys about it, but then I thought, yeah, I probably will. And then one morning I woke up and found that I had spent the previous day, like I went to bed, I was checking it constantly, and then the next day I woke up, and this is after like a week of like it was just working perfectly, like smooth, even though I wasn't even going near my daily budget. And then one day I woke up and it said I had spent £117 the previous day. My cost per install was £11 per app. So like my cost per conversion, I guess it balances out over the week. If you ever do like AdWords and you set your daily budget at like £5 or $5, it's surprising because it actually spreads it over the course of a month. So like that first day you might have like $20, and then it readjusts itself. So that's what it was doing. It was readjusting itself. And so it was, because I came in and I found out the day before I'd spent £117, and the next day, that morning, it was like 4 o'clock in the morning, or no, about 5:30 in the morning, because I'd come into work, and I could see that already that day at 5:30 in the morning, I had spent £65. My cost per conversion, I had 2 conversions, so my cost per conversion was £32, and that's when I went, turn that off. Or actually I just limited my daily budget, and it's kind of ticking along okay now, but it's still like what it should be, and what I've always thought this should be is like, I'll get the conversions right, get that conversion rate right, and then once that starts going through and I get like a decent conversion, then I will go through and crank up the money going in, and then it'll be scalable, right? Didn't happen at all. Like that one day, £32 per install freaked me out big time. So but that was yeah. So anyway, that was gonna be my big video to you guys. I was gonna show you like, oh man, this is what you got to do. You just got to put, don't do don't do advertisements for your free apps. Do it for your paid apps. And it was working pretty well. And it still kind of is. So they're still running. But it went all... That was the big news of the week. And I was like waiting for today to tell you guys about it. So if you guys are watching it in the replay later, then you'll hear it if you came in late. So let's see. A Pragmatic Dev Solutions. Hello. Hey, how's it going? Mahmoud Saul. Hi, Eric from Palestine. Hey, Mahmoud. How's it going? Billy. Hey. Billy, your profile picture always looks so happy. It always looks like you actually are saying hey in your profile picture. Mustafa, hey Eric, how are you? Have a nice day. Thank you. You too. Bizwajit, hey Eric, APK Pure has your app in my game. You sent me that through a comment. I was going to have a look at that. They are providing APKs. Now, is APK Pure, is it actually, are they cloning it? Or are they just having a link to the Play Store? Because I've seen other stores where they're running something and they're just, sorry, I got like a wasp or something flew in here. I've seen other sites where they'll take the description and the name and the screenshots, and when you click on it, it actually goes to that. So let's have a look at that actually, Bizwajit. APK Pure has everyone's app, dude. That's what Billy says. Cool, Phil, we hear you. Great. Fist007, hey everyone. Hey, how's it going, Fist007? Vuko is here. Vuko, hey, how are you? Fist007, I've been missing your live streams for the last couple of weeks. Yeah, it's, we're still keeping them going. We're still here, still doing them. In fact, today was one of those days where like, it's really hot. Well, I'm not going to say that because every time I say it's hot, it's like hot here in England, but it's not hot anywhere else in the world. So, but it's been warm in the office, so I thought maybe I should just take the afternoon off. But no, it's the live stream. It's my favorite part of the whole week, so got to come back and do that. Rohan says, do you just make money with AdMob? No, Rohan. So I've done a video about like the revenue streams. There's, it's not just AdMob. So, and I think a lot of people think that I only make money through AdMob, but it doesn't. But it is a big chunk of it. So in terms of the passive revenue. So if you're talking about how I make money just in general, I don't have any, like, I'm not smart. I don't have any investments or real estate or anything. I've got and I don't have a job. I got this job. This is my job, obviously. So I've got, I make money through AdMob and trickles through other ad networks, but it's hardly worth mentioning, right? I through in-app purchases, through purchases from App Store and Google Play, through client work, through YouTube advertisements. So, but it's like through YouTube, it's like $200 a month. So it's not really worth mentioning. And so every so often I think about just turning off the YouTube ads. And that's it. So the client work is what fills the rest of it. Now, lately, I've been getting contacted by lots of different companies about promoting their products on the YouTube videos. And some of them I've actually been like, see, some of them I've actually been tempted by, like, not because like, oh, the money, but like, actually, no, I do use this one. That's good. And then other ones are like, I don't like their tool, or I don't like their I don't like to say tool because it's not the tool, but it's like some of them, it's like I haven't really got through it. So I hate the idea of, as an app developer, being a mark for marketing. Like all you have to do is buy my course, buy my product, buy my my SEO tool, ASO tool. All you have to do that, and then you will get that app success that has been eluding you for so long, right? I hate that, because once you do get those things, I mean, if you've ever, so for me, it's been like spending more money than I can afford, especially initially on Sensor Tower, and not getting the returns from it. And they were so good about making it seem like, well, that's because you're not using it right, which is probably true, but no, it was nobody to show me how to use it in the way that I needed it to. So. And other people swear by it, and I guess it's the best tool ever, and I just, I haven't been able to do it. So that kind of stuff really bothers me. It bothers me as a developer, like, as app developers, as developers or people who make things, we're putting stuff out there and we are trying to get eyeballs on it. We're trying to sell it to the public. We're trying to do what we have to do, and we have this camaraderie of we're all discussing different tactics and ideas, and it's very easy for somebody to come in and say, I've got the solution for you. All you have to do is pay me pay me for my product or my course or whatever, and and you'll get all the answers. And I don't think that's true. Now, I have been thinking about doing a newsletter or some sort of other paid thing for passive income. So like, and it's just through the channel, because people have been asking, do I have to watch all of these videos to figure this stuff out? And it's like, well, I could condense it down into like an ASO course or something, but I don't want to do the normal, come to my webinar. Come to my webinar. It's going to be, first of all, webinars are stupid. I don't know why everyone's going crazy about webinars. We know there's going to be a sales pitch at the end. We know that it's going to be, like, it never made sense that it has to be at a certain time. And most of the time it's not. Right, so come to my webinar, and it comes like, oh, I see we got people from Atlanta. I see we got people from so-and-so. Hey, if you agree with me, type 1 in the chat box and all that kind of stuff. I just hate that. And then at the end you get the pitch, and it goes on for hours, and then and it's something just sleazy about the whole thing that I don't like. But let's see. So why did I go off on that? Oh yeah, Rohan. Why do I just make money through AdMob? Boy, that was a tangent, wasn't it? So like, I think I was talking about last week. Last week I did 4 videos last week. I only did the 2 this week, because I thought, well, because I was feeling like I need to do more. And then one of the first comments I got was, "Dude, you talk too much." Right? And then I was complaining about this. God, somebody just said I talk too much, and they were like, "This is the first you've heard of this?" So that's like, when I go off on these tangents, I know you guys can't interrupt me, but yeah, we need somebody to just come in and smack me around a little bit. Where am I? So was the last thing I was Rohan's. Bizwajit, Billy, is it not illegal to copy APKs? Now this is it. Well, let's look at. I want to have a look at APK Pure, because I know there's lots of things out there that they're not necessarily taking it. In fact, if somebody were to take my APK and serve it through their site or through their market, as long as the purchases came back through Google Play, because that's where the APIs are going, and the ads came through the ad network, that wouldn't bother me at all. Now, if they're distributing the paid APK, like piracy, then that would bother me. So I want to have a quick look at APK Pure, because I did see this when you said it the other day, Bizojit. So I'm just gonna bring up my screen here in a second. All right, so here's my screen as APK Pure. No ads, faster APK downloads, APK update speeds. So we'll have a quick look at this, because yeah, now you got me a little bit concerned. I mean, when I see this, I just think they must be. Let's go. Com.microphone. So this is Ear Agent Super Hearing, because every time I update Google Play, it updates on these. If I go through download APK, APK Pure, download from. Yeah, maybe you're right. Okay, is it down? I'm wondering if they're copying it as. Okay, I'm gonna have to have a look at this later and just make sure that it's coming through the right ad networks. It's not a decompilation or anything. Actually, let's do. Let's see the network traffic. I'm gonna do that one more time. Oh, as developers, I mean, it's one of the things I'm always looking at. I'm always looking at the developer console. Like whenever something doesn't load, I'm like, oh, it's a JavaScript from such and such. So let's take. The first one we get is download.apk. Oh, come on. Here we I'm trying to see if it comes from, if it's actually downloading, like if it's redirecting the download to Google Play here. I think it might be. Google Analytics, google.com. I'm gonna look at this later. This is gonna be boring if you guys look at me, watch me do it here. But we do have Google Analytics, which is just analytics. Does anybody know about that? Anybody know if that's what it does? Now you got me curious. So let's see. It feels like I've lost connection here. Have I lost connection? I haven't lost connection, have I? Let's see. Is it not legal to copy? Yo, Eric, have you ever used GraphQL? I've looked at it. So this is from CordFunk. Yo, CordFunk. I've never used GraphQL, but I've seen it. Like I've looked into what it is, which is it seems really cool. Like you can send the query through the API, and it's like you send formatted query through rather than SQL, but it's GraphQL. Because at first, when I heard of GraphQL, I kept thinking, what the hell is this? Like I figured it had to do with charts and graphs, which is not what it is. It's like a querying language. So it's almost like you have a super flexible API where you can call the data. But I've never actually used it. Like so in our own applications, I think I like the idea of just having a restricted API, right? So the GraphQL seemed like it was really cool because you could just call it and get the data that you want, and it was much more flexible. If I understand it correctly, I haven't, like I said, I haven't used it. I have like a cursory knowledge of it. But are you using it? That would be, and how are you finding it? Is it any good? Techno Joe says, do all Android apps require privacy policies? No. So like if you're 18 and above, actually I don't know if it's 18 and above. If you're not collecting any information, if you don't have any ads or analytics, I don't think you would require a privacy policy. It still allows you to not put the privacy policy in, but if you have anything that is, if you're getting the data of the user in any way, then you're going to have to do it. And most of it, even if you have ads, even if you have analytics, even if you're making purchases, you're going to have some data of that user. So, and this is why they're really cracking down on this. Like I said, I did a video this week where I talked about how slow Google Play is getting. I have a client that their app, it took a week to approve. To be honest, it took 4 days to begin with, and then it was a rejection because of privacy policy. Not that we're missing a privacy policy, because of privacy policy were there, but obviously it wasn't good enough. So we made some changes, submitted it again, and it was like another 3 days, and it was just checking it every single day. So but I kind of get why it's doing. I think they should give us more guidance on privacy policies, to be honest with you. I paid for some privacy policies, and nobody should have to pay. It should be like a standard thing. In fact, you know what? When we go with a service, like if we use Firebase, they should say, make sure to include this snippet in your privacy policy. That's what they should say, so that every time you go to a different source, you should be able to go and get that and just sort of compile it like Lego blocks. But it seems like you have to figure it all out yourself. Billy was saying too, Biswajit, you could probably contact them and they will remove it. Personally, I don't mind, since it's just another source where people could download the apps. Yeah, I'm thinking that too, as long as nobody's tampered with it. But it's not the pro version, because then the pro version is different. Fist77 says, ooh, believe me, I'm in Algeria and it's like 38 degrees now. Yeah, I know it's not. It's like 25 here today, I think. Definitely hotter than England, but I have a beach like 500 miles from home, 500 meters from home. Oh, that's cool. Making English Fun says, you just advertising Ear Agent or the language apps? I did both. So I did both of them, and Ear Agent was better for universal app campaigns because it wasn't targeting the language ones well enough. I think the language ones I'm going to have to do with Facebook because it's more of a niche thing, right? Whereas the Ear Agent is more of a mass appeal. So, yeah, that was because I did it with Ear Agent first, and it was working so well that I thought, I'm going to do it with some of the language games. I put the language games on there, and it was just like it was like going, I think I said this before, it's like going to the roulette table and putting all your money down on one color and then watching it evaporate. That's what it was like. Or one number or whatever. It was like, okay, this is going to work. It's working for that app. I'll do it for this one. Oh, the money's gone. That's it, right? So yeah, always be careful when you do start with low budgets and low previous. So I did really low. I did Swahili bubble bath, Pro, and I set the daily budget at £5, and on day one it spent £17 because it's over the month. £17, no conversions, no downloads, no purchases, no nothing, right? And I thought, okay, that kind of makes sense because it's not going to attract, it's not necessarily going to go to the people who are searching it, because it was more of a getting in front of other people. So where it was Facebook, I would be able to target those ads to people who are actually looking for it. And also, I think not using universal app campaigns, but using a keyword search campaign on Google, I would be able to target it a little bit better, because just target people who are searching for it rather than just, the public at large. So it was like if somebody, if I saw an app say how to bake a cake, I'd be like, whatever, I'm not interested in that at all. So, I wouldn't be interested in that. I don't think, maybe I would bake a cake. Pragmatic Dev Solutions says, I watched your video about publishing apps in the Play Store, and I published a new app this week. Hey, it only took 4 hours to appear in the Play Store. Cool. That's good. I don't know what it is. They must be doing it randomly. So I got an email from somebody saying this week, John was telling me that he submitted a whole bunch of apps at one time, and some of them were rejected, even though they're all very similar. And I had the exact same experience a few months ago where I just updated all of my language learning games. So I spent the afternoon just changed the something in the core library, and I had to resubmit all of them. And all of them went through except for 2. They got rejected, right? And I was like, come on. And I think they're spot checking these things. So I think the last 2 clients I've had has been spot checked, and it's very difficult. It's now I'm gonna have to make sure that we have at least a week. I'm gonna say we have to have at least a week for go live, right? So it's gonna help in terms of, let's put one more thing in it. We have a bit more time. Let's put one more thing in it. Just getting that deadline moved forward. And at the same time, just making sure that if there is a rejection or something, that we could respond to it without having to go through and apologize for the fact that it's not been done yet. But it's always been that way with Apple. It's always been the way where, okay, Apple rejected it for this reason. Okay, we just need to change this. We'll change this, and resubmit it. But with Google, it was kind of like, wow, I was really surprised. I was really surprised. It was just so out of character for them. Josh says, Eric, my whole family knows your slogan because I always watch it through my house. My name is Eric and I make apps. My name's Eric. That's cool. Say hello to everybody. Thanks for that, Josh. Rohan says, okay. Esteban Mira. Esteban says, how can I create several Google Play accounts and avoid getting banned? I've never done that. I've talked to other people, and this comes up again and again, and I have thought about it. Should I have more than one Google Play account, so at least everything's not in one basket, everything's spread out. If one of them gets suspended for any reason, then at least I have other ones to rely on. But I mean, you just I think it's just dodgy to do it anyway, because it's linked to your Google Play account anyway. Now, I would like for them to actually allow you to do that. So if I have one app so I have my spy app, which is kind of creepy, and I have my language learning apps, which might be targeted towards a different audience, right? When they start saying other apps from this developer, I would rather have them go to something that was more branded, almost as if I had a chain of app stores, right? So if somebody's going to look for something else by this developer, it shouldn't be something completely unrelated. It should be something else. So I would love to be able to have, okay, this one is for this one is for the ones for this demographic. This one's for this demographic. So just have different brands for each of them. But no, that's not the case. And even if you have multiple developer accounts, they do. We just heard so many stories of it that they have ways of figuring out who it is. I mean, I don't know what it is. If you access them by the same IP or the same, I don't know how they do it. They just have their ways. I think they know more than they're telling us they know. But yes, Ben, I've never actually done multiple accounts. In fact, let me ask you guys: who out there has multiple Google Play accounts? Or actually, maybe if you're willing to say it, I don't want to get you any of them removed. Fist007 says, Eric, I'd like to ask you a business-related question. Oh, wrong guy. How do you deal with periods where there is no client work, like 2 or 3 months without client work? I freak out. 007. I freak out to Fist 007. So no, for me, it was February and March this year. It was just slow. I mean, everything slowed down. I cut back the team size. I moved to the smaller office. Well, the first thing is I got rid of the Mustang, and I just sort of started to anticipate things might go wrong. And it was my own fault because I started to spend in accordance to what I was making rather than think if this dries up, what am I going to do? Which is always as a contractor. When I went from being a permanent employee to a contractor, I spent a little bit of time out of work with no money coming in for the family. That I never was in that situation again. I always had a reserve stashed away, and I let that get away from me. I thought, okay, we need to scale, we need to move up, so I was doing that. And then when the client work dried up, we still had work to do because we had client work on, and it was and that was very, very difficult. But if it's something where, like, as long as that's where you have to look after your expenses. Like if you're working on your own and you're doing work for clients and then nobody comes in, that's the time you should be working on your apps. That's where you should be working on your marketing and getting in front of people and doing that. But again, I've talked to other software developers, like other companies in England, either because they come to us as clients or I just meet them and have a chat. We talk about the licensing. Like a lot of software companies will license their software to other people. So rather than say, hire me to develop your app for you, it would be like, hire me to develop your app for you and I will charge you a certain percent, like a certain amount each month for the number of users and all that kind of stuff, which to me never made sense. Like I never liked the idea of that. However, they don't freak out like I do if I don't have a new client come in, right? It's like I compare it to being Tarzan and you're swinging from vine to vine and you're hoping that when you get to the end of that one, the next one's going to be there. And most of the time it is, but it is, you might have times where it's like that, where you have nothing new coming in. But that's like every business has that. Every business has to cater for that kind of stuff. So it's not even the apps. Like what if the apps just people stop downloading the apps for 2 to 3 months? Then what am I going to do? Well, then I have to rely on the client stuff. Or what if this? I mean, for me, I have backups of backups of backups. So like I don't burn any bridges. If the client work dries up, then I'm gonna have to focus more on my own apps. If my own apps get removed for any reason, then I have to go find a contract someplace. If I can't find a contract, then I'm gonna have to find a permanent job. If I can't find as a software developer, if I can't find one as a software developer, then I might dust off that old teaching degree that I have and see if I get certified to teach, get that updated. If I can't do that, then I'll look at something else. And if it goes all the way back to I'm sweeping the cages at the zoo where the elephants, live or whatever. I'm sweeping up elephant poo at the zoo. Whatever it is, I'll do whatever I have to do. But you're building skill upon skill upon skill. That way you have other places to fall back on. And and I think about that from time to time. Like, what if I had to go work? What would I want to do? Like, if somebody pointed a gun to my head and said you have to go back and be an employee, but you can do whatever you want, then what would I do? Would I want to be a C# developer like I was before, or would I want to be would I want to try to do apps working for somebody else, or would I want to do something completely different, like try to get into machine learning or something, because I'd be learning on somebody else's dime. So yeah, but that's always a thing. I mean, but yeah, I've had some scary months. I had some scary months where you're just scraping by, and everybody else is like, oh, everything's fine, and you're like stressed out big time. Like I'll be in the building and I'll go get coffee and everyone else just seems so relaxed and calm, and I'm like, oh my God, it's like I gotta get through this month. I hope they pay that invoice. I hope this happens. I hope this comes in on time. I hope these developers finish this project so we get this paid. And you're just like, you're the one, the burden is all on your shoulders, and you're just trying to make sure everything's calm, everything's cool, everything's great. They don't have to see how the sausage is made. They don't have to see the ups and downs of it all. You just gotta make sure everything looks. You have to make sure the water looks calm on the top, but even though it's all turbulent underneath. Boy, that was a tangent, wasn't it? Let's see, what do we got? Oh, is the audio out of sync? Is anyone else bringing the audio out of sync? Sorry about that. Wow, I'm way behind. Okay, sorry about this, guys. This is what happens. I'm thinking about getting somebody to help me doing moderation. I say that every week, but I'm gonna do it. Let's see. Where did I leave off? Okay, pragmatic dev solution. Okay. Making English Fun says APKs have all of my apps. The pirate programmer is here. Pirate programmer says, "Hello, Eric. Hello, guys." Arr. Jay Matthews here. Hey, how's it going, Jay? Now that you've been doing insights versus daily, do you see any pros and cons for doing either way in terms of subscribers? Yeah, so subscribers. So Jay, that's a good question. The subscribers have gone down. It's slowed. So where I was thinking I was picking up momentum before, where I was getting about 1,000 new subscribers a month. Now I'm getting about 700 a month. So yeah, that's slowed. In some ways, I mean, especially when I stopped doing daily, I really kind of started to just feel depressed and I keep saying I lost my mojo and all this kind of stuff. And it was easier just doing it daily. But like even this past week, I just done 2 this week, and it's like I keep toying with the idea of just doing it more frequently. And it's but I think I've gotten out of practice. Whereas before it was like I have to get a video done today, and it was just set up the camera someplace, do it. I want to do it someplace new, and if I do it from the office, I feel like, oh god, it's just like I hated doing it from the office. It's more fun to do it outside, or I think it's more interesting to do it outside. However, it's more difficult. It's difficult to do it outside because people are walking, and you got people walking past, and just wondering what you're doing. It's hard to keep your thoughts going when you're talking to the camera, and there's like some guy. So usually what's happening, like I'll be talking to the camera, and there'll be some guy walking his dog like this. And just I can see in the corner of my eye this guy just watching me, and I kind of wish just move along. But so even like today, I think I did it from the car. I did it from the car because it was a bit easier. But it's also like I love being able to think, oh, this is a good location. Everywhere I would go, I would look, say, where can I do the video from today? And it's a nice day outside. I should do it outside. I should do this. And occasionally I would cheat and like change clothes 3 times. I do like 3 in a day. But thinking up new topics was fun. But occasionally you get like a comment saying, you've already talked about this. You've already done this. And it was like, maybe I should just, slow down a bit and think of and do like fewer topics. But it was fun because it wasn't all about apps every single time. And people would complain if I did one that was not specifically app related, but just like what I was thinking about that day. And they said, I remember somebody saying, is this just gonna be a lifestyle channel because I came here for app tips, right? And I'm like, well, tomorrow we'll do some app tips. We'll do app tips other time. And it was like, and occasionally you get people comment saying, dude, all you do is talk. All you do is talk too much, and you just get to the point. And I was like, well, but it was still fun. I mean, I really enjoy doing it. So yeah, Jay, I keep thinking maybe I should start the daily up again. And every time I think about it, everyone else kind of groans because they know that I was also really, really busy before, and I'm a bit more relaxed, I'm a bit more chill now. So Mark Jamero says, hey Eric, how's everybody? Hope everyone's having a blast. Hope you are too, Mark. Abdhad says hello. Hey Abdhad, how's it going? Josh, no APKs from APK Pure are not from Google. Oh, they're not. Okay, at least not served by Google. Well, Mark Jamero says, what engine framework do you use for your game apps? If more than one, what are the pros and cons for the game assets? What software do you use? So I still use Corona, right? I just did a Corona app. I keep saying I'm gonna switch over to Unity, but like it's the whole learning curve, and I've got our developers are doing something in Unity, and when they say, oh yeah, we know Unity, I still kind of wonder, all right, but I think I need to learn it just so I know what they're doing. And also I was looking at using Flutter with Flame, but again, it's just when you have a pressing client project and you're like, I don't want to be stumbling about trying to learn new things and end up hitting a roadblock because something's pretty new, and then you got other people on Stack Overflow saying, I can't figure out how to do that either. So I just stuck with Corona because it was just, I was able to do it really very, very quickly. It didn't cost them as much. And I do like the Corona platform. I don't like using Lua as a language though. Naji Yusuf Eltami says, hey Eric, when it comes to marketing my newly developed game, I don't have any money to spare on the advertising. Do you think I should just go with a mobile publishing agency like Voodoo or Ketchup? You could. I mean, I've never used anything like that. It's never even crossed my mind to do that. For me, it's always thinking about what are people searching for. I mean, most developers don't have a marketing budget. In fact, nobody has a marketing budget. If an ad doesn't work, then it's not worth doing, right? The whole thing about advertising is you put in $1, you get $2 out, or you put in $1, you get $1.20 out. And if it doesn't work that way, which a lot of times for free applications it doesn't, then that's not the way to go. So you have to think about how you're going to get it in front of people, and getting that momentum, right? So for me, like sometimes I'll do an AdWords campaign where I'll do like a really low bid price, like 1 cent per impression, and not in the US. It'll be like everywhere else in the world. So at least I could get some downloads on it. But yeah, it is spending money on it. So you have to think about how can you get people to do it. I mean, are you creating content regarding that? Are you thinking about how people are searching for it? So do you have a landing page? You have like other places. So you have your one application, which is the final destination where you want people to go. Now, the assumption is going to be they're going to go to Google Play and they're going to search for it and they're going to find it. But if they don't, are they going to go to Google and find something? If so, do you have like a landing page someplace which is optimized for what they would be searching for? Do you have a video on YouTube? Do you have a whole bunch of videos on YouTube that go back to that? Are you thinking about the keywords and how people are finding it? It's like you're putting nets out there. You're putting traps out there. So wherever they're going, you can find it. Are you posting stuff to social media where they can get in front of people? Are you putting stuff into Facebook groups, which is spammy, but it's like it's one way to do it? And are you trying to see if you can get people to talk about it, get people to mention it? Which is it's always difficult. And it goes back to every business, every product has this same issue. You got people standing on the street passing out flyers to the restaurant or whatever because they're thinking, how do I get people to notice that this exists? How do I get people in there? And you're doing the same thing, but since you're digital, since you're online, you're doing it through social media. And most people are going to walk right past and not pay you any attention, but maybe you might get lucky and some people will see it and go in and have a look. Techno Joe says, thanks Eric. How about the terms of use of terms of service? Are those required in Android apps? I've never done terms of use and terms of service. I've always done the privacy policy. Now, I know sometimes you have to put the privacy policy within the app itself, but I don't usually do that. Usually I'll just do the privacy policy on the Google Play page. But I think I remember once when it came out, like the requirements got stricter. It would say like you need to have the privacy policy within the app itself. But I've never, like a lot of mine still don't have it in there. Is the audio out of sync? Let me just check down at the bottom because I know that. Okay, so, all right, you guys can still hear me, right? So sorry if the audio's out of sync. I don't know what's going wrong with it. I don't know if it's my computer. Luke Films is here. Hey Luke, how's it going? Pragmatic Dev Solutions says, how often do you release a new app? Every 6 to 8 weeks? For me, it's been a while. Like my own apps, it's been like a long time. It's been a long time since I've released a new app. I mean, I release apps almost on a weekly basis for clients. So it's been like focused so much on client work that I haven't actually sat down. It's been a while since I've sat down and actually done one of our own applications. Just because it's almost been like, our apps are still doing okay, right? And one of the main reasons is when Apple started rejecting things, it really bothered me. It was like, you go through and everything I was submitting. So when I kept submitting new apps, and Apple started saying, nope, you need to have a container app for all your apps, even if it didn't make any sense, right? That's what they were saying, because I had too many apps. And whereas a whole factory model of like, I'm just going to put out as many games as possible, and that was working with Google Play. It was not working with Apple, and it just bothered me. So so I haven't done. So it's been a while since I put out anything brand new. But mostly it's client stuff. So but I'm always updating my existing apps. I always trying to put stuff out there. Like a couple weeks ago, writing a Node.js script so that I could just. It's not continuous integration because it's not linked to the build, but it was like I could make a change to the core libraries and redistribute all those applications with one command. Let's see. Project Rizza says hello. Hey, how's it going? Fist007 says, could you please walk us through the process of you going to get new clients? So for me, because I'm such a bad salesperson, cold caller, whatever, most of the time the clients come to us, and that took a while to set that up. It's the same with the apps. It's like, it's not a case of I set up a website and people started to come in, although that's what I thought was going to happen when I set it up. So when I set up my first website for Overpass back in 2004, it was like nobody found it, nobody did anything, and so we started producing more and more content, more blogs, more stuff, whether through the videos. So now we get people coming in and finding us, and also we've got the SEO efforts that we did for a long time, and none of that. It's almost like gardening, where if you have a garden, when you get to the end, it seems like, oh, it all makes sense, but when you're at the beginning, you don't know if it's going to work, so it's difficult. And building that up. So a lot of the clients that we have is people coming in and finding us. So they're finding us through whatever method. And we ask on the on our it's one of the things I ask is like, how we found it. Was it through YouTube? Is it through Facebook? Is it through SEO, through Google search? And just so we kind of keep track of that, and the benefit of them coming to you, the benefit of trying to get clients to come to you through inbound marketing rather than you go out and find them, is that they've already decided on you, like you've already been shortlisted, right? So I get contacted by development companies all the time saying, hey, we're a development company, we'd like to do your next app for you. And I'm like, no thanks, I'm not interested, because they contacted me. Now it's possible that I may be on the market for an app and they just happen to interrupt me at a certain time. So even though they might be low on search rankings and low in terms of the credentials, the fact that they've interrupted me at the right time means that they were able to snag me up before I actually went out and looked through the open market. But ideally, you build your presence up so that the people will come to you, and that takes some time to do. Initially, you're going to have to go out and just find them. And what I would do, I mean, you could use stuff like Upwork, and I've never done a job through Upwork. It just seems like everybody's, like there's just so much competition there. So for me, it was putting content out there. As a developer, as I think okay, so this is one of the things I did this week. I talked to a class in Oxford, like a summer school class, and I talked to like young developers, and one of the things I was talking to them about is because the software development, like the job market, is so crowded, you have to look for ways to stand out from the rest of the crowd. And a lot of that is just producing content, showing your body of work of what you've done, not just your portfolio, but helping other people solve their problems, helping other people do stuff, writing blog posts, writing articles, doing that kind of stuff. So I mean, that's something to do. It's not a very direct question, but it's I'm lucky at the moment, but because it's taken a while to get here to where we have work that just comes in rather than me have to go out there and find it, because I was always really, really bad at doing that. I wasn't bad at doing it. I was too afraid to do it. I think I hate cold calling. I hate getting on the phone and calling up a company just and saying, hey, I would like to talk to your head of IT or whatever. I just don't do that. And then you got LinkedIn. So for a while we were doing, here's something, use LinkedIn Sales Navigator. We were doing that for a while, actually. So we were using LinkedIn Sales Navigator in order to find prospects. So from LinkedIn Sales Navigator, if you've never used it, it's not like normal LinkedIn where you just do searches. It's like you could say, within this location, I want to find companies in this industry that have employees of, have this amount of employees and this amount of revenue, and you could go through and you could target the people that you want to get in touch with, which would be the head of technology, the managing director, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And you could go through and do the LinkedIn messages to them. What we were doing, and this is before GDPR, is we were just going through and trying to figure out what their email addresses was, because it was really simple. All you had to do was use a plugin that would from LinkedIn that was it's called Reportive. You just try a whole bunch of them, and if it came up with a profile picture, that was the email address. We would just look up all these email addresses, and I would just cold email them, right? But now with GDPR, we stopped doing that because it's always been kind of iffy as to how that works. But that's something to do. So like that's a way to go out and reach those people, because you don't want to call the switchboard and say, I want to talk to your head of technology, because like you and every single recruitment agent in the UK, or you and every single recruitment agent, and every other software developer, so you can find out who they are, and you could even be a little bit more creepy about it. And this is something I've done a little bit, but not so much, which is you just start following them on social media, sort of get involved in their lives and stuff like that. But sometimes the heads of technologies can be not on social media a lot, not technically savvy. They're just sort of doing their jobs, getting on with what they do. So. But we could explore this in more detail. It'd nice to know your details in more detail. BizYG says, upgraded my game to 64-bit. I'll update it with a few more changes and publish the update. I got the email this week saying I got all these apps I still need to do to 64-bit. We've only got a few more weeks, don't we? Be Smart. Hey, how's it going? Be Smart. Hey, Eric, review my app, please. Wallet, Income, and Expense Tracker. Okay, so we're going to have a look at Wallet, Income, and Expense Tracker. Wow, we're 50 minutes in, and this is our first app review. Let's have a look. Share my screen. We're still looking at APK Pure, which, yeah, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about APK Pure, it does seem a bit on the dodgy side. So Wallet, Income, and Expense Tracker. Which one is it? Be Smart. Can you tell me which one it is? Is it any of these? It's always difficult because you can't paste a URL into YouTube without it thinking it's spam. But while we wait for Be Smart to come back, if he's still around, let's read the next question, which is Adam Major says Pragmatic Dev Solutions. In last video, Eric says that he releases one app per week. Yeah, I release a lot of apps, but in terms of releasing my own apps, it's been just doing updates and stuff. And I kind of draw that distinction. So. John, good viewing numbers again. Yeah, thanks everybody for showing up. Charles Mpanduki says, hello Eric, I'm glad I made it today. I'm glad you're here, Charles. Let's see. Yeah, Be Smart, add a link, please. Make English Fun says, just to let folks know, Huawei is now open to indie devs. I have some on there, though about 10 downloads. Not in China yet, as they have some copyright hoops to jump through. Okay, I have not done any, aside from register for a Huawei account, I haven't done anything yet. I think I'm going to be a late adopter on that one, just because, it's difficult to. I guess I'm just lazy. I've just got so much else on, but it's definitely something I need to do. I mean, if it's like the thing, if I thought for sure that I was going to get more downloads through Huawei, I would do it tomorrow. Like I would just block everything out saying I got to get these apps on Huawei. But because I have my doubts, it's like I'll wait till somebody tells me, dude, you got to get on Huawei. But maybe I should do that. Then at least I could tell you whether or not it works. Let's see. Be Smart says, is app support more language have much chance to show in Play Store and get more download? Yes, definitely. If you put more languages on your app, because people aren't going to be searching for the language your app is in. It's not going to be searching for English. It can be searching for other languages, and that's one of the big things that I saw when I put my app into other. Okay, I think BeSmart may have left. So let's just go back to this one. So that, yeah, definitely. If you once you start getting a few downloads, and once like you got to the point where your app is, you've like, I'm happy with this. It's getting the, people have used it, people have done that. At that point, you go through and you translate it into other languages and so if you're using Android, it would be the strings.xml. If you're using if you're using iOS, it would be the plist file, config files. If you're doing something else, sometimes you have to roll your own solution. So have a function that says get string, and then you have that get string function throughout all your code so that it will go through and say your primary language is say English, but you have other things done in like French or German or whatever. So like for me, I would always like in our Ionic apps, I have a JSON document. In my Corona apps, I have a Lua table with all those things in it. So if I add a new feature and I don't want to go back to the translators, that feature will just be in English. But at least your Play Store should be translated to, because that'll be that will be what people are searching on. Let's see. Okay, so. Where was I? Huawei. Adam Major says, have you noticed that statistics, installation failures, etc. are delayed on Google Play Console? Sometimes it doesn't update for 1 to 2 days. 2 to 3 hours. 2 to 3 hours. Newly updated applications in the version. Maybe Google has performance issues, so you have to wait long to accept the new application. Now, I noticed that in the beginning. It used to be like when I released my first app, I would watch those stats every single day, and I realized after 3 or 4 days that they only update once a day, right? And it's such a and it was always the same time. For me, it was like noon, and then it switched to like 2 p.m. and it's just like, it was not consistent. It was like I thought there was like a specific time that it got updated, but yeah, it's not. The stats on Google Play Console have never really been that dynamic. Fist007 says, when do you think you'll get the Mustang back? Soon. That's the next Mustang. It's not going to be the same Mustang. It's got to be something else. It's got to be like maybe convertible, or maybe or the V5 engine or something like that. But yeah, it's back on the vision board, but it's not something that's I'm going to do immediately. What I really want to do is wait out the whole Brexit thing. I want to wait out the Brexit thing and keep everything small, keep everything nimble, and just like if things go really, really bad, I don't want to be in a situation where I have lots of debt, lots of things like that. So I've got some debt now already, but I want to offload that, obviously. So and if you do, please do a picking up video. I definitely will do definitely do a pickup video. Let's see. Jay Matthews says, just sitting here watching you, but I keep trying to read that sign you have on the printer. What does it say? Oh yeah, this thing. So I got this for Christmas. One of my kids gave it to me. It says, some days the best thing about my job is that my chair swivels. And I kind of have it off to the side because if a client comes in, I don't want them to think I'm whatever. And then I think it's kind of like a negative thing, but then that's kind of funny, right? So I did put it up earlier this week. That's what it says, Jay. Maybe you need glasses like I need. My eyesight. I'm getting older now. My eyesight is getting worse now. Where I'm at the point where I'm looking at my phone like. Like just like in the last 2 months, I'm getting worried. Let's see. Pragmatic Dev Solution says, I've never published an app in Apple Store. I don't know if it's worth it. Yeah, you should do it. You're talking about $99. It doesn't cost $99 a month, Rohan. It costs $99 a year, right? So to get a dev environment. So if you can submit it, if you don't have to rewrite it, if it's not in native code, if you've done it in Unity or something, then it might be worth doing to submit it to the Apple App Store just to see whether or not it does. And you might find that you get more purchases if you can get it in front of people. But you also have to be able to compile it using a Mac. You have to be able to test it using an iPhone. So there's other costs there too. But it's still it's $99 a year. And if you I make that money back each year, so it's not, for me, it's not a big deal. Let's see, but it's not $99 a month. Adam Major says you can run APK on iPhone with Android emulator, for example, on iAndroid. Oh, really? Rohan, developer account is $99 a year, and you must have Apple hardware. Yeah. You have to have Apple hardware. There's other things like Mac and Cloud, and I don't know if you can use that for development or not. We wrote a service. We wrote a service which we never used, which we were hiring Mac and Cloud. Let's see if I could do this. Just show you guys the screen here. But I've never used it as a developer, and I think what it is, if I remember correctly, so we did it where you could rent a Mac in the cloud. And you're it's almost like a remote desktop type of thing. You could log into it and do the remote desktop. What we did was we had something that was doing a service. So we had we would send the code and it would compile it and then download the IPA file. And we were trying to do this whole, we were trying to do our own app builder software for a while. And in the end, I just gave up on it. Because it was going to be too hard to do. I realized after a while that we had so much client work on, and I was investing all this money into this thing, and there was so much competition out there. It was HTML based. I still have my doubts about Ionic and web view based applications, and so in the end I pulled the plug on it. But we did a lot of really cool stuff, and one of the services we used was Mac and Cloud. So that might be something you could do. But of course the Mac has a learning curve associated with it too. It might be something you could do. Or get another, go on Upwork, or I don't know if Fiverr would do it, but get somebody to say, look, I have all the code. I just need somebody to compile this into iOS and test it and upload it. It's not as easy as that, because I have had somebody who came to me once and said, can you just, look, I don't need you to do anything. I just need to compile this so we can upload it to the App Store. And I said, sure. I didn't charge them. I didn't do anything. I just said, sure, I'll do it as a favor to a viewer of the channel. And then the first thing is that there's compilation errors right off the bat. And so I said, there's errors, and it's oh, can you try this? Can you try this? And it was hey, all of a sudden this has become a job. I didn't want to do it. So you'd have to make sure, as a job, and have somebody not only just compile it, but to test it also. Because if it has a bug in it on the iOS platform, it's going to get rejected by Apple, and then you're going to have to figure out what it is, and you need a developer who can figure that stuff out. Let's see. Bart Raka says, "Hey Eric, if EarSpy made $10,000 a month, would you quit client work and only focus on your apps?" Yeah, I think I would. Well, there's always, because you could always be making more. But yeah, that would be nice. To be honest with you, Bart, there's times where the client work is very stressful, but then sometimes it's kind of fun. It's fun to get new clients. It's fun to get new clients and to really be able to go out there and impress them, and they're happy with your work and everything. And sometimes it's just a slog. Sometimes it's it's like any customer service type of thing, I guess. It's there are times where you're able to help people. They really love that you're there to help them, and you're like, hey, if you're gonna put an app out there, I'd rather help you do it right than you go out there and have somebody cheat you or do a bad job or not understand how it works. And all the experience that we've gathered doing it, the hundreds of apps that we've done, it would just go to waste if it just sat up here in my head. But then you have some clients which are they don't really appreciate the complexity of it. They're always, and it's in any job where you have to be someplace at a certain time or get something done by a certain time, which is every job, then it can be a bit stressful. But yeah, I would definitely consider that, Bart. If $10,000 a month, because that would, yeah, then I wouldn't have to worry about anything else. That would be pretty cool, because then you would have that freedom to just create and release. But Milan Ivakovic says, "What's the best price for remove ads in an app in your opinion, so it generates the biggest revenue?" The best one to generate the biggest revenue would be $100, but nobody would buy that. That's one of the ones you have to play around with. I would say try for $2.99. No, actually, no, it's difficult. Try $1.99, and if nobody buys it, go down to $99. If nobody buys it, go up to $2.99. Just keep playing around with it, because if nobody's gonna buy it, if somebody really wants to pay for it, then it's not gonna make a difference if it's 99 or $2.99 or $3.99, right? They're doing it either to support the developer or because they really don't like those ads. So I would say try different prices on it. It's gonna be different for different applications, right? You have to think about, sometimes people aren't removing the ads because they really hate those ads. Sometimes they're removing the ads because they want to do something for the developer. They really like the application. They want to pay something, and they'll do it, and you give them that opportunity. Pragmatic Dev Solutions, do you publish apps on the Microsoft App Store? No, I never have. I have an account, and I was looking at, the thing is, I never got. You know what stopped me was I never got a Microsoft phone. Like, I never got a Windows phone. And I kept looking at eBay thinking, oh, it was like, I don't know if I want to bother. And so I've never done it. And of course, like some of the, like Corona, you could do Windows desktop apps. But even then, because I'm on a Mac now, I have to run out. I have another machine in the office which runs Windows, but I'd have to do that. And so I've never have. But I would be interested to know, is anybody out there, have you guys done a Windows application a Windows app, put something on the Windows Store, and how has that worked? I mean, has it been successful for you? So the next app we're going to look at is called, because we skipped his message, sorry Ravi. Please, you skipped my message. Can you please review my app? Yes. So this is Ravi Kumar Sharma's application, and it's called Postmaster Jack Route Finder Puzzle Game. Cool. Postmaster Jack, available on Amazon and Google Play. Help me find the fastest route. Oh, this is cool. Wow, this is Robbie, this is pretty nice. Did you do all this? I mean, did you do all the graphics and everything? Let's see. Let's have a look at the video. Because this looks really polished. It looks really nice. Oh, you guys can't hear my headphone. I like it. What would people? So let's go. First of all, I'm gonna do a search on Postmaster Jack. Cool. So yeah, it's like it's so let's do a route finder. I think it looks really nice. Let's see, route finder, go, route find. Yeah, that's most, but it's like, in terms of games, it's like there's not a lot of route finder game. Let's do route finder game. Yeah, so yeah, doing pretty well. I think it looks really nice. I like the icon. I like the description. You got 9 reviews. Fun and engaging. Fun game. You need to get some new reviews. These reviews don't look legit. It sounds like you've got your friends to do it, which is good. I mean, I'm assuming these are your friends, but they need to add a little bit more to it. So, but you got 10 plus installs, but you released it 4 days ago. So, yeah, I think it looks really nice. And you got the developer website. Let's have a look at the developer website, which we don't normally do. But what I'm trying to think is, how would people find it? Ravi, like what would they be searching on? So you got your your other apps here. I think it looks really good. I mean, what do the rest of you guys think? Let's see. Christopher says, "Yo, Eric. Yo, Christopher. I feel like my ASO isn't working. I'm falling in the ranks, but I know that my app has higher reviews than other apps in my space. Could be something wrong. Last name, Anoibo. Sorry, Christopher Anoibo. Christopher, could we have a look at your app? Could you put your app name in here?" Milan Ivanovic says, "I have 17,000 requests, but only 6.7 thousand impressions on AdMob. Banner is on top of screen, and it has enough space. It's on top of map. So why is it low impressions? Are you preloading them? Because it could be the case that you have a request that comes through to preload the next ad, and it never actually shows because they've moved on. But that does sound like it's a bit low. In terms of the requests versus impressions, that would be, I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean every request is going to have a response too. You might have some where you don't have any, so you should have some house ads in there too, so you have something to show if nothing shows up. But yeah, sometimes, like, I've had that too, where I was like really confused about the fact that interstitials I was having more requests than I was having impressions, and the thing was I was preloading them. So once an interstitial popped up and they closed it, then I'm already preloading the next one so that it's ready to go if they happen to get to the next stage where they would see one. Let's see. Grounded for iOS. Grounded. So I'm gonna look at this on. So I don't have my iPhone plugged in. I'm gonna. Let's see. Let's see if I could Google this. So look at this for Christopher Onuibo. Onuibo, is that right? Grounded on iOS. Oh, grounded on the App Store. That's one. Stop. Not well grounded. Back. Okay, so Christopher, is it this one? Hang on, wait till those. Is it this one? So hopefully this is it. Christopher, is this one? Let's see. So we got grounded. I mean, you have more room for the description. No, Jamie Wielden. This isn't it, is it? Christopher, are you able to send a link for this one? I'll see if I could get it approved. Rohan says, speaking of Brexit, we could have to lay 50 employees off at Bitfork Media Group. Yeah, you know what? It seems like we're either overreacting or we're underreacting. I think we're underreacting about a lot of things about Brexit, but it's like, because nobody knows what's going to happen. Like that's the problem. Nobody's made a decision. Nobody's done anything. It's even then we're supposed to have an answer by the end of October, and nobody really thinks that's ever going to happen. We got the voting for the new prime minister. So that will be happening, I think, at the end of July. Although I'm not involved in the politics very much at all, and I don't really have. Like, I'm not a British citizen. I mean, my company's in the UK. I've lived in the UK for the last 21 years. I don't have British citizenship, so I don't vote. I'm kind of, I think whatever happens, I'm gonna roll with those punches. But yeah, this is one of the things where I think a lot of people will lose their jobs, and for me, business could slow down, but it's still, I'm the one rowing the boat. Like, I could adjust course, whereas if you're working for somebody else, they could just be like, okay, we're getting rid of them, and that's kind of a scary thing. Jay Matthew says, I know you're more of an Android dev, but do you have any thoughts on Swift UI? Somebody asked me about that recently. I've not used Swift UI at all, so no, I don't have any opinion. But I think I need to look. Is Swift UI? I don't even know if Swift UI is new. Is that something that's recently come out? Phil J says, I'm trying something new to build discovery for my paid app. Normally it's $9.99, and I reached out to BGR and gave a heads up. What's BGR? I reached out to BGR and gave them a heads up about going free for a few days. and then going back to paid. Yeah, so you could do that now. Have you tried doing this? Have you had any luck? So no, I haven't. I haven't seen the benefit of doing the free one because the paid one seems to have enough reviews. But if you don't have any downloads or any reviews, you want someone to do it. Now, the reason we're not allowed to change from free to paid is because they don't want people to release a free application, get loads of downloads, loads of reviews, and then start charging for it. So that's the reason why we don't do it. But now you could do it with Google Play Ads. You could say the ad is, I'm going to make it free for the next few days, right? And that seems like, or up to 7 days. And it seems like it's like going back on the reason they did it the certain way to begin with. But yeah, I mean, I would say, yeah, definitely see if that works. Because the problem with having a paid application, like if you're going to pay for something, then those reviews are going to be really important to you. And you want to get those reviews in there and get people using it. A Pragmatic Dev Solution says, I have an old Mac. I think it's a 2010, 2011 model. Can I use that to compile iOS apps? I think so. I'm not sure. Mine is a 2013. It's an early 2013, and I'm still using it. It's getting slow in terms, like, because I do a lot of video rendering, and it's getting a bit slow. But I've got my MacBook is a 2013, 16 gigabyte. I've got SSD hard drive. I've been looking at getting an iMac. Well, I mean, I've been looking at it. I can't afford it at the moment. Well, I could, but like, it goes back to that whole saving up for Brexit thing, right? It's like, oh, I really want one. There's certain things that I'm on the, like, I just really want to get. I want to get a drone for the videos, right? I don't need a drone, but every so often my mouth waters and I think, we need a drone. We need a drone shot in these videos. And also, I need a new camera. Like, I'm tired of this old camera. I need a new camera. And I have to stop myself saying, no. Hold off. This is how you get into trouble. So that's why I'm going to stick with this MacBook for the next, year at least. But yeah, but you never know. It's one of the things that Apple's really good at is phasing out stuff. So I have an iPad which won't upgrade past iOS 11. So I have to keep renewing these devices. I got an iPhone 5 which won't go up to iOS 11. So I don't know if that will work with the 2010, 2011 model, but I would fire it up and see, as long as you can get that Xcode upgrade. But Billy says you can use it. Billy says you can use it. Just make sure you update for the latest Mac firmware. And Daniel says, hello. Hey, Daniel, how's it going? Let's see. Am I still showing the game? Daniel says, how to start into machine learning and AI. I have a bunch of books on it. And I get to a point, to me, learning AI and machine learning is like learning a language. It's like learning a language. It's like learning any language, except it's one that you start off really easy. You got the simple stuff, and then it just goes like that. I found that I took a course in Hindi, and I studied Mandarin in the army, and I studied Vietnamese, and those are pretty good. They don't conjugate the verbs, and they don't have masculine and feminine nouns, so it was like easy, right? So when I studied Hindi, I thought Hindi was great. You start off, you're like, I could say hello, I could say thank you, I could say the weather's really hot, I could count to 10, that kind of stuff, and then it got into like, okay, now if you're saying, kya aap kuch kya aap kuch chahati hain, or who, depending on if it's a man or a woman, then it got like really complicated and I gave up. And it's the same way with machine learning. It was like really simple at first. Oh, this is really cool. Include this library, do this. And then it got like really, really hard, really, really fast. But so I'm not the best person to ask on that, but it's one of those things where I'm thinking, it's getting ridiculous now how long I've said I wanted to learn it, and I have not learned any of it. Same with Flutter, actually. Wi-Fi Blocker says 2011 Mac is too old. For the latest 10.2 will be built up to 10.1. I had to shell out for a new Mac last one, 2011 latest a while. Latest Xcode doesn't work on 2011 hardware, even though the Mac 2011 was boosted. Oh, cool. Well, makes sense. Ravi Kumar Sharma says, I did the graphics myself. That was really cool. I thought those graphics were really good, Ravi. Wait, where did we go? I've lost my place. Oh, yeah. So I did the graphics myself. So this is looking back at the one that we did. It took over 8 months. And I also released an app on Microsoft Store. It's a desktop app. So let's have a look at this. So this is Ravi's desktop app. So Ravi, how is the desktop app doing? Let's just share the screen here. Oh, I can't get to it. I'm not gonna log in. I can't remember what my, yeah. So I guess I have to log in. But if anybody wants to check that out, they can. Let's see. Rohan, for app, should we do a banner or a video or ad mob for ad mob? You should do an interstitial or a video or rewarded. A banner is still good. I mean, but it's not. Banners don't pay nearly as well, right? I know they don't. I know they're less intrusive, but that's one of the reasons why they're cheaper to do. And they make less money. Pragmatic Dev Solution says, I make more money in the Microsoft Store. Okay, cool. Search for my basketball playbook in the Microsoft Store. Cool. Simon Supper Time says, love your content, Mr. Rulli. Thank you, Mr. Supper Time. Any quick suggestions for a guy who is maybe 50% of the way between an app idea and learning how to execute an app idea? Tool, content base, rev from mega targeted ads. Reversal from mega targeted ads. So for a guy who's maybe 50% of the way between an app idea and learning how to execute an app idea, I think this is, it's, so because I've been in the same one, or I had an app idea. I kind of had like kind of an app idea, but I wanted to do an app, and I wanted to, but I also was thinking I can't do an app unless I have a really good idea, and I'll wait to learn it until I have a good idea. And in the end, it was like that first idea might not be as great as you think, and you just might as well just get on and do it. And if it's something that you want to learn to do yourself, having the idea is going to be really important because it's going to guide what you learn. Like rather than say, I just want to learn Android development, I'm going to learn how to access databases, I'm going to learn how to access it or do the GUI, target or connect to an API, all that. You're just going to be focused on, laser focused on the stuff you want for your application, and then later on you can go on and learn the rest of it. But so I would think, Simon, that I would think the best suggestion would be to first of all draw up the idea, right? Get it down on paper, because it's something you could discuss with other people. I did so I was saying earlier, I did a like a summer school thing where I went to go talk to some students, and we were talking about, they were like iPhone developers. So or they're studying to be iPhone developers. So one of the things I brought up was Lucidchart and just started drawing some diagrams, because that's the way that I think. I think in terms of flowcharts and mockups. So I was doing some mockups and some flowcharts of like an architecture diagram. So that's usually what I do. So you might want to get your idea down on paper first, because then if you're the one who's going to do it, then you can see the flow of how it works. And I do this for my own stuff too, although sometimes it's just scribbling down on a piece of paper, right? And nobody could read it except me because my handwriting's so bad. But like I'll think, okay, the first page is going to be, so when the app first opens, it's going to say, there's going to be a start button there, or do I go straight into to view something, or do I want something where like I click on a button to go to a certain thing and I lead them through a process of selecting the level, the categories, whatever? Or is it going to be something where it opens up and I just see a feed? And then just sort of working through that, and then you can figure out what it is you want to actually produce in the end. And I'm not saying you have to do it so that you can give it to a developer, but that's an option. Even if you're going to discuss it with another developer, you have that in place, and then you could also learn how to do that. But I think that's something that as developers, I'm just as guilty of this too. Sometimes I'll just start coding, right? I'll just start leaping into it, I'll draw the interface as and when. Sometimes it's better just to see it in your head. Wi-Fi Blocker says, with hindsight, I'd go cross-platform. I think cross-platform is good too. Thinking similarly, I'm not a tech guy, and I figured it would be better to build one good working prototype and then pay people to fix it and build it on other platforms. Yeah, maybe. A lot of times, so I found this. So sometimes people will come to us with like, we did it in iPhone and we want to have it transferred to Android. Or I've done this too, where I do like a prototype and I give it to somebody. You'd be surprised at how often the developers are like clinging to that old code, like thinking like you've done things for a reason when really you haven't. You're like, you just so I think a good document is better than a prototype in code. Just say, okay, this is first screen, this is what it does. I click on this, it goes here. I click on this, it goes there. I click on this, it sends this to the server. I think that makes much more. Oh, okay. Swift UI came out in WWDC 2019. Guess I wasn't paying attention. It looks a lot less code needed versus UI kit storyboard. Yeah, I don't like the nib files. That was one of the things. I don't like the nib files, and I don't like the XML stuff in Java. And it's one of the things I like about Flutter, the fact that it's all code. Rohan, how was Hindi to you? I speak Hindi to my kids and wife. The reason I was learning Hindi because I was working at an investment bank and all the developers were in India, so I thought I'll learn it, and it was kind of fun, like just to be able to say things. Like I can remember, like the weather is, like I can remember saying the weather is warm or something like, I can't remember whether garam was warm or weather. I can't remember. So there were certain things which I was picking it up, but then it got to the point where, like with any language, you think if I'm gonna go down this way, like there's. So like so I speak Chinese, so that was one of the things that is like a nice party trick. Like if I meet someone from China, I could have a nice little conversation. I could actually talk about quite a lot, but it's still not as good as a Chinese person. Like when people hear that I went to school to learn Chinese and I was a translator for the army, they think that's very impressive. And I say, yeah, I have a skill that only 1 billion other people have, right? And all of them are probably better at it than I am, right? So it's so you think about, okay, yeah, I can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could say I could say the United Nations in Chinese, Lian Hogwo, or I could say there's all these words that are there's vocabulary in my head, but there's vocabulary that's missing, like umbrella. I don't know how to say umbrella. Like that will never come up unless that comes up. I could say fountain pen, gangbi, right? But like that never comes up in conversation. You think that vocabulary you build up. So that was the thing when I was learning Hindi. I kind of come to that realization of like, am I really going to learn all these words if I don't use it every day? And that was what I found. And the masculine and feminine thing completely threw me. I felt like I was cheated. Like I was like, oh, I was always bad at Spanish and French because of those masculine and feminine words, and like always confused me. And then I thought, they have them in Hindi too? Oh man, I wish I knew it. Sandeep Bandari says, cheapest way to get paid installs. Google UAC has a lot of self-clickers. Yeah, I'm worried about that too. The Universal App Campaign, I do think about that too. The self-clickers, I'm thinking about doing the Facebook one. And I don't know if that's going to be too much of an issue. And I think like I said, Sandeep, when people come to me saying, how would I do the self-clicking and not get caught? And I'm like, dude, I don't know. I'm not going to play that game because it's, I'm putting ads out and I'm hoping it's not going to self-clickers. Sorry. Christopher Onuibo. So this is his. It's called Grounded Quit Weed. Okay, so let's go to search this one more time. Thanks for coming back on this, Christopher. What do you guys think? Should we change the format of this live stream? Do you think this is just too disorganized, where we just start at the top of the stream and go through every single question? The amount of times people have said to me, there's no way you can answer all questions, but it's kind of fun just to do it. I'm thinking about getting someone to help with moderating, but I don't want somebody to say, no, we're going to answer your question, but not your question on iOS. So hopefully you guys are okay with this format. But like, you won't, like, if anybody's watching the live stream and can't see the chat, they won't really know what we're talking about. All right, so here we go. So this is Christopher's. Grounded, quit weed on the App Store. Last updated on. Okay, so you got. You stayed grounded for some ways. Quit smoke. Okay, so. So grounded is an app to quit weed. Let's. Okay, so you've got 61 ratings. That sounds good. Last release was. So it looks like it's doing okay, but. Again, so what I would try to do, and I like the fact that you're this is the subtitle. tea break, or quit cannabis. What I would try to do is try some different screenshots. Try to do something that's not necessarily the screenshot of the application. Now, they might reject it. So it's like I'm saying, don't put too much time into it, but try to put something in there where you have a few screenshots that might be not just the app itself, maybe the app in a device, or with some text at the top or bottom just to say a bit more what it is, right? Because it's doing a genuine need. But let's have a look at this on App Annie. And go through this process, because the things that you're going to want to be found on is think about how people are going to be searching for it and what are they going to get to. And what I want to see here is what you are ranking for now. So I can see that you got weed and cannabis, but not marijuana, and there could be reasons for that, like grounded, quit weed, like maybe it's too saturated. So let's see. Let's wait for this a little. Oh, let's go to the ASO section. I think I'm becoming a professional singer. That's my backup. If this app thing doesn't work out, I'm gonna become a professional breakdancer. Quit vaping. So you're number one for quit vaping. No fap. I only found out what no fap. There's like somebody on my Instagram whose name is no fap, and like keeps coming together, and I didn't know what it was. Stoner, cigarette, weed, marijuana. So it sounds like, it looks like you're not ranking too well on this. So some of these things. So let's have a look at. I want to have a look at weed, marijuana, ganja. Actually, let's look at United States. United States sounds like it would be where I'd want to look at. Recetas, quit cannabis. That's really what we want. Quit it. No, maybe not. Marijuana. Okay, cool. You're ranking 34. Stone, ganja, farmer, cannabinoids. Quit weed. Okay, so let's have a look at this. So, Chris, you were saying that you think that your ASO has stopped working, and it looks like on some of these keywords you're kind of going down. Ganja, I don't know if ganja is something that people really search for, but I'm not really. I guess when I quit it is something that all of a sudden you started ranking for recently, but marijuana is the one I'm really interested in, which is the green one, and that's one where 67, 53. So you're dropping a little bit and going back up. So you were really consistent there for a while. Is there a new release here? Oh yeah, so there's a new release on the 25th, and that's where you probably have the where Quit It came in, and then you had a release a day before that. So yeah, something has happened here. We got these two new keywords that came in, and a new version here. Yeah, I would experiment with this a bit more. I mean, I know it's difficult to say. We'd be interested to know what's in these releases where you did this. I suppose we could look at it here. So here we go. Duh. All we have to do is look at. Okay, so over here, app grade, version graded. It does tell you what it is. App Annie is just the coolest tool. I'm on the free version, so any of you guys can look at this with your own apps, and I hope you do. So app version upgraded to 1.8, but here is like the name changed from Grounded Quit Cannabis to Grounded Quit Weed, and at that point, what happened? Quit Cannabis was 2, and Quit Cannabis is still 2. Wait, okay, so you Quit Cannabis, it's had no effect. Let's go back. Let's do this one at a time. This is confusing me. So here, let's do marijuana and Quit Cannabis. Okay, here we go. So when you changed it from Quit Cannabis to Quit Weed, cannabis still stays 2. So you're under Quit Cannabis has stayed the same, but marijuana has dropped, which makes sense. quit cannabis to quit weed. Actually, there could be other things that you've changed in the description too. Or there could be, like, when you look at this kind of stuff, it's not necessarily you. It could be like a competitor coming in and taking the top spot. But I just want to do cannabis. I mean, I don't want to do cannabis. I'm saying I want to check the keyword on cannabis. Let's see. Yeah, don't take that out of context. Let's see. Is everyone still here? Is everyone left? It's getting quiet in his office. Oh, it's getting hot. So we're still having a look at this. While we wait for that to load, you guys can see the screen, right? While we wait for the load, Ravi Kumar Sharma says, I'm going to release a mobile client for it, and it's really successful on Linux platform as it's free there. Around 1,400 downloads a week now for the Windows version. That sounds really cool. Let's see. Is that loaded? Okay, so yeah, cannabis, you're still outside. So but that sounds like it would be really hard to rank for just cannabis. But for quit cannabis, you're number 2. What I would do, like if you can figure out what people are searching for and how they're finding it, that would be good. And have a look at, what I would do is have a look at your iOS the analytics report, Chris, and just see how that's like if you're getting less impressions than you were before. Okay, so we're gonna look at this next app from Hulk. Says, could you have a look at my Dutch in the Dutch App Annie, see what my keywords are doing? Sure, let's have a look. Now this is something that when I look at App Annie, this is something I probably don't stress enough, is that I am not on a paid version of App Annie. I am on the free version of App Annie. So, if it's unreleased, it might not be on there, but let's have a look. So, about the free version, so it's anybody can do these searches. It doesn't have to be yeah, it's not showing up, I don't think. Dutch earthquakes. Okay, let's have a look here. Oh wait, there it is, right there. Okay, let's have a look. We're gonna look at ASO keywords. We're gonna look at this in Dutch, even though I'm not gonna really be able to add much value here because, well, if I can't learn Hindi, I can't learn Dutch. So, so the question I want to know, and I think what everybody wants to know is, do they have masculine and feminine words in Dutch? Let's see. So, Dutch. Why am I not finding this? Netherlands. I don't see any. It's not coming up with anything. Really weird. Let's go to United States. Not seeing any keywords on there, Hawk. It might be because it's not released yet. But yeah, so sorry about that. Mr. L33 says, yo, Eric. Yo, Mr. L33. Just rolls off the tongue. Yo, Mr. L33. German Eric here. Cool. German Eric spelled with a K. We could be like, if there was like, we could be alternate universe Erics, and one day we could have to fight each other. Have you ever did a project for the crypto blockchain tech? No, I haven't. Or thought about it. Thanks, mate. Really love your content and your attitude. All the best. Thanks. Great, Eric. So yeah, I have not. I've had so many people tell me about blockchain, especially a couple years ago, not so much recently, where I thought, how can we use this? And every time it kept going back to currency. So no, I've never done anything with it. And the only reason I'm interested in it is because it was such a hot topic. Like it was like I just want to do it so that I can say that I've done it. Oh yeah, we released this app in blockchain. That's how awesome I am. And they'll say, what does it do? Doesn't matter. It's in blockchain. We have blockchain in it. So no, yeah, Mr. L33, I haven't done it. Or Eric, sorry, I haven't done it. Pragmatic Dev Solution says, do you create software design documents? I do, but they're pretty much like I'll use Lucidchart and I'll use Balsamiq and just put something together. especially if you're going to another developer to do them, or you need your designer to do stuff, you need to have something in place so that they have something to work from. But also when we do client work, we have to say this is what we're going to do. In fact, I have 3 that I need to work on at the moment. There's been on my to-do list all week, and all of a sudden here we are, end of Friday, and they're not done. I met with a client this morning. I have to do their design document for their stuff too. And a lot of stuff, that's what I do. Like I'm drawing pictures, and it's thinking about because I think for me, I think visually. Like if somebody's explaining an app to me, okay, so you should be able to do, let's say, they're describing me what it should do, and I just can't do it. I have to see what it's going to look like. So we had a meeting this week where we're talking to a client, and we've been talking about the app, and I couldn't see it. I kept getting frustrated because we're describing things and nothing was written down. And even if we are, it's like in paragraphs, and I just can't see it. And in the end, we did a Zoom meeting where I just brought up Balsamiq and I brought up Lucidchart, and I was saying, okay, so the flow is going to be like, first they hit the home screen. The home screen, they click on the play button, and it takes them to this screen, and they select this, and then it takes them to this one, select this, and then the game starts. And on level 1, we're going to have this, and this. Level 2, we're going to have this, and put everything into a document. And then that was like, it was clear in my head, it was clear in their head. We walked through the process, and every so often you run to a snag saying, that's not going to work. We need to also get this information from them. Where would we have done that? Let's go back to screen 2 in the flow, and that would make sense. But no, it could be confusing because they think it's this. So it's like having that flow chart in place. And it's not like I don't believe in like formal design documents. Like I'm not very rigid about these kind of things. There's certain things like I want to document version history on it. I want it to make sense. I want it to have certain things like I want to have the architecture as one section. I want to have the application flow as another section. I want to have the mock-ups as one section, and maybe some look and feel sections about what the design should actually look like. But I'm not like it's not any kind of formal methodology. It's just something that makes sense to me, and it should make sense to the developers. Like I don't want the developers to have to go to take a special class to learn how to read this thing. This is one of the problems I had with. Sorry, I'm just rambling on. This is one of the problems I had with UML back in the days. UML was is a way to is to map out software in terms of like charts and almost like a database diagram, but you can map out the different components and stuff like that. But the thing is, I remember reading I read one book on UML, and it was so complicated. Like you learn how to represent the software in a graph in charts, and if anybody wanted to read it, they would have to have read the same book. It's like not enough developers knew how to read what I was writing, and that's one of the problems I had. Discovery Center says, hey Discovery Center, I want to open a service company for school and college students in jobs future options, ? Is there do you have a question for that one, Discovery Center? The pirate programmer says, please review my app, Eric. Notification history. Arr. Oh, and you got the link here. Thank you for the link. Let's just do this. We're looking at this one for the pirate programmer. Arr. That's never gonna get old to me, ever. So okay, this is loading up. This app is called Abiso Notification History. Okay, so you've got Abiso is one of the best notification management apps for Android on the market. With a simple and straightforward design, anyone can use it. It just works as users expect it to be. Cool. The app works even if you are offline. It doesn't collect your personal data when online and ensures that your users are protected at all times. So yeah. So once again, what we have here is we have the screens as they are. So you have the history, you have YouTube, search, delete all. I'm going to delete all your notifications. So you're doing stuff which is kind of expected, and it doesn't really help it doesn't help sell the application. Now it all depends on. Okay, we'll do the ABCs, the flow. Number one is they have to be able to find it. So the icon has to be good, well, the keywords have to be right if they're searching for it, and the icon has to be good if they're doing it. So if I do notification history in search, how much shows up and where do you place in that, and does your icon stand out to me? So I see a lot of bells. I see a lot of bells and chat windows. So notification history. So that would be the first thing. So it's how do we stand out from all the rest of these? If notification history is overcrowded, is it on here? How far down is it? So if it's overcrowded, then we need to think about, if they're not searching for notification history, what are they going to look for? Is it going to be message history? See, these guys are still doing it. Is it going to be text history? Is it going to be whatever? Is it going to be something like, so we think about the search, how are people going to find it? And then once they do, we got to think about how do you sell that to them. So, and if you use ads, you don't have to worry about the first part because you can just put this in front of people, but it has to be compelling. So when they look at this, it's just, they'll be able to see what it does immediately. So let's say you have, let's tell a story with the screenshots where we say, no more complicated message history. You know, you could have like find a stock image of a guy spinning plates saying, managing all your messages can be very difficult. That's why Abiso is here. Or something just like, just go get some stock images, have the phone in the foreground and the background, the app in the foreground, and so, some text at the top, some people sitting there. It's making their life easier, and think about doing it that way, because right now I just see a bunch of screenshots and it's not making sense to me because unless I read the description, and most people are not going to read the description. That's my opinion about that pirate programmer. Told you the last stream that I'll upload it already did. So, but I think it looks good. Like I'm not slagging this off at all. I'm thinking just the screenshots. If we think about just changing these, then that's the way that I would go with that. So I hope that's okay. Yeah, I'm not slagging it off in any way, pirate programmer. So I think it looks really good. I just think you need to make sure that you have it like it's clear to the user what it does, so that when you finally do get them to this page, that they make that decision to do it. But again, but before you get them to this page, you don't really know. So my assumption is that it's going to have a little bit more in the description about what it does. In the screenshot. So the pain points there are, you've got too many. It's too difficult to check all your stuff. You're losing track of things. You want to somebody said something to me, I got to find out what it was, and all that kind of stuff, and think about that. Let's go back to notification history where we did that search, and let's look at the top one and see what theirs looks like. From Yada Studio, your major competitor. We're gonna sink them, pirate programmer. Let's see. So what does theirs look like? Same. Theirs look the same. And you know what? All the advice I just gave you, so they're not doing it either. Let's go to the next one. All right, notification history log. They get a plus for the nice looking icon. Okay, so here we go. Notification history, add to favorites, dark theme, filter. Even then, it's not addressing the pain points. So if somebody's looking for a notification history app, then these would make sense. App settings, because app settings, like every app has settings, right? Every app has settings. Search notifications. It should say a bit more about what it does. So also, I don't like that icon. But I don't know. What do you think about it? What do the rest of you guys think about that one? So the next, you guys see the screen. Let's see. So next one is Glenn Ferris says, why reply to negative reviews? They never change the review or acknowledge the reply. 1-star reviews are generally from people that don't understand the app or just are incredibly dim. I agree. You do not reply to negative reviews for the reviewer. They are, a lot of times they're just angry about something and they're leaving it. You do replying to the reviews for the people who are reading that review. That's the only reason you're doing it. Although sometimes they will go through and change it. That's the surprising thing. Sometimes they'll say, I'm glad you acknowledged it, and they'll go through and change the review. But for me, I am responding to negative reviews. It's not for the reviewer. They're the last time, screw them, right? They're going to take, they're obviously, it's not the app that they want. But if somebody goes through and said, this is the worst app I've ever used, you don't want it to be just leave it at that. You want it to be, hey, I'm really sorry you don't like it. Loads of people really like this application, right? Or if they say, it's buggy, right? So I'm really sorry to hear that. Loads of people are using, like, it's your way to soften it, right? If somebody's going through and they're reading a bad review, you want something in there to say, look, as a developer, you are trying really hard to make a good experience for them, right? I get the thing where people say there's a virus in this app, which is not true, and I don't want that doubt in anybody's head that there could be a virus in my app, because I don't know what the motivation for the reviewer is to leave that, but it's like, I've got to respond to it. So I assure you there are no viruses in this app. If you have a virus, you got it from someplace else. But we've had, and again, stress, loads of people are very, very happy with this application. And that's why you do it, Glenn. You don't, yeah, I agree with you. They're not going to change their mind, but sometimes they do, surprisingly, but that shouldn't be the reason you do it. And you shouldn't even do it for them. You should be doing it for the other people. And don't tell them they're wrong, right? Because nobody, just say, hey, I really appreciate you giving it a try. That's like, we have a standard response. If you look at our apps, it's always the same. It's like, hey, thank you for the 5-star, or this app doesn't work well. Hey, really, really sorry you didn't like it, but thank you so much for giving it a try. That's all we get. That's all we got to say. Chandra Frebrian says, hi, Eric. I have a question. What should I do for my app that makes 0 downloads in 1 month after release? We need to have a look at that and find out why it's not doing. You need to think about, if you put an app on the App Store and nobody downloads it, does it actually exist? Right? You have to think about why is nobody finding it? Why is nobody downloading it? Why do you have 0 downloads? Why do you not even like your friends download it? Like you get some people on it. And then, how are people going to find it? Pradip Tambe says, hi, RBO. What's up? Long time, man. RBO? Ravi Kumar says, why do you keep skipping my messages? Ravi, I'm not seeing all your messages. Obviously, something's happening here, but I think I've answered every single one of your messages. If I haven't, then let me know. But I am not skipping any messages on this chat, not intentionally anyway. So don't get stroppy with me, son. Sorry, I'm just kidding. But Ravi, I'm happy to answer any questions, but if I don't see them. Concrete says, just here to say hi. Love your work. Thanks, Concrete. Thanks for showing up. And thanks for the hand. Chandra Fabrian says, please review my app. What's wrong with my app? Lights out, always on display, and flashlight. Thanks, Eric. Okay, so we're going to look at this one for Chandra. And we're going to have to start wrapping things up because we're at 1 hour and 50 minutes. And but let's have a look here. Lights out from, lights out, always on display. Okay. Lights out. Ooh. Is this it, Chandra? You just respond real quick. Is this the one? Lights out. So cool. I like the screenshots. No panic anymore. Just one tap to keep alive a long night. So lights out. So this one doesn't make. So this I kind of get it, but this one, like the first screenshot, doesn't add anything. It has lights out twice. So no panic anymore. I would say no more panic. I would look at the English of this. No more panic. Just one tap to make the smartphone keep the light alive all night long, all night. Save your night. Turn on the flashlight. Not fear lights out anymore. Let's see. Let's go to just out of curiosity, I want to go to a stock image website. Let's go to PhotoDune. Actually, no, let's go to Pex. Well, there's Pexels. There's free ones, and then there's the paid ones. I'm gonna go to a paid one. So let's see. Let's go. I'm gonna do Nightlight. Nope. Let's look at scared bedtime. Nothing. Bedtime. Here we go. Let's take a let's do crib bedtime. So let's say Chandra, let's say we have a not that one. That's some bad pictures on this site. Crib. We could have. So what I'm thinking of, so let's go back to lights out. The reason I'm looking at this, it seems like I'm going off more on a tangent, like I'm just researching stuff. So you have lights out, you have the 3 screens. Now you don't have a lot there. So what you could do is say no panic anymore. So you could say like afraid of the dark. You know, you need a quick way to do that. You can show some kids who are sleeping in bed, but they're reassured because in the foreground they have the lights out application. I'm not saying you have to get like models and everything. I'm just saying get some stock images. So the background, you have that, the foreground, you have lights out, and that's the narrative you tell, all the different things. You know, you got kids that are scared, you're bumping into things in the night, you're doing all that kind of stuff because you don't have a lot of different screens to show, but you could walk through that and do that. So lights out is an always on display utility app that forces your screen to never turn off whenever you desire. It's like turning on your display into a flashlight, and it comes handy when the electricity goes off or you're having trouble falling asleep, right? So yeah, that would be like showing flashlights in the background or something like that. You could tell that kind of stuff in the screenshots. Now, but have this in the foreground, but in the background kind of have that. That would be my ideas on that. But, and again, and then also looking at if people get to it. Glenn says, thanks for this live stream, Eric, and all your insights. You are okay. Thanks, Glenn. Let's go back to this one. Let's see. So Chandra, we went through that one. Concrete says, when are you live streaming? We're live streaming right now, man. We do it every Friday. The next time is going to be Friday at 5 p.m. UK time. I say 5 p.m. UK time because we got daylight saving or British summertime. So like for a lot of you guys, it'll change in a couple months. It'll be one hour off. I should do it on GMT, but yeah, for me, it's just more convenient to do it 5 p.m. Although we're at an hour and 52, so we're going to have to start cutting stuff in here. So Chandra, I think we've got it there. So we did the lights out one. Let's see. Johan Albrechtson says, Flutter, what's your opinion? Flutter, what's Flutter? I'm not... Flutter? Is that like a new thing? Yeah, I've done so many videos on Flutter. It's like the inside joke. I'm wondering if you're asking that. I think Flutter's great. I was talking to it with a bunch of kids the other day, telling them how they need to learn Flutter. Let's see. Lights out. I think we did lights out already. Just make sure this is the same one. Pirate Programmer says, got it. We'll be back next week with better screenshots and icon. Yeah, no, Pirate Programmer. Like I think it's I think that's just my opinion. So test different things. So it's, I'm just me. So yeah, it's try different stuff. Zombie Massum says, hello, Eric. Hello, Zombie Massum. Troll Nation Animation says, Eric, can you check out mine? Yeah, tell me what the name is. We'll have a quick look at it before. I want to finish this within 2 hours, which we got 4 minutes left. And Zombie Massum says, please review mine. Yes, that's so we've done that one. Please give me some advice to improve my app download. So let me know which one it is. I don't know if all of them are coming through. Jacob Pompey says, how many impressions do you have per day or month? It's like 20,000. I don't want to. It's a lot. There's more than you think. I do have a lot of impressions. I can't tell you the exact amount because then you could, if you got the amount of impressions versus the revenue, then you could figure out what the RPMs, which is what I'm not allowed to tell you. But it's a lot. It's tens of thousands each day. Phil J says, thanks for asking my question. I had to step away for a call, but I'm sure it was helpful and informative. I'll watch on the rerun. Yeah, cool. Chandra, thanks for the advice, Eric. No problem. Anil Rao says, any thoughts on Flutter web versus React for web? None, because I've never used Flutter Web. I know that it's kind of new, but Troll Nation. So, but I haven't used it, so I don't have an opinion on it just yet. It's the kind of thing when we ever talk about Flutter, and I say the nice thing about React or Ionic is that if you're going to do a web version too, you have the code, and then everyone says, "Yeah, what about Hummingbird?" And I said, "Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. Like, we don't know how good that's going to be." So this is Face Pause from Troll Nation Animation. Troll Nation Animation. Troll Nation Animation, is this the one here? The Face Pause? Is it space? Because it's are you Carl Duncan? Cheerios or cornflakes? Cheerios. Cheerios, definitely. Let's see. Okay, cool. So face pause apps with face detection. Cool. So pause anything when you are not looking. Oh, that sounds cool. Pause videos facial. That sounds really clever. So I would think that Troll Nation Animation, or shall I call you Carl Duncan? You should change the name. You should change the name on the developer account, because I think you can change it to whatever you want. In terms of what I would like to see, you got 53 reviews. You've got 5,000 plus installs. Last updated was on the 12th of July. Current version is 11.7. Oh, when did this come out? When did you release this? Let's have a quick look. Com.cd apps. Let's go to App Annie. Do we still have App Annie? Where do we do it? Quick look at Face Pause. So after this one, Cheerios definitely. Cheerios all the time. So Jacob Pompey, that's going to be the last question I answer. So I'm just looking down here. We're going to look at App Dark Web here. We're going to look at this one first. And oh, you messed up the version code. I've done that. I have one app that I've done for a client. It's like version 11. It's also version 11 because I put the decimal point in the wrong place. So every time I update it, I have to do version, like I have to do, what was it, 11.0.2? And it's like, oh, because I was in a rush. I don't know why I was in a rush. I did the exact same thing. And it won't let you go to a lower version. Okay, so let's have a look. Or at least that's on iOS. It won't let me go to a lower version. So what I want to do here, Troll Nation Animation, is look at the keyword rankings that we have on here. This is now the longest live stream we've ever done. But that's okay. Got 42 people watching. We should do a telethon. All right, we're gonna go another 4 hours. So pause. So while you're ranking number 14 for pause, number 26 for pause video, face detection. So yeah, face detection. I would think face detection would not be the thing I was looking for, but pause when look away. Look away. Face to face. Oh, actually, we're looking at the UK. Let's have a look. So pause video, pause, facial authentication, which is not what it is, face detection, face tracking. So you're rising up. Well, it's only one day. Oh, hang on a second. You've released a lot of versions here. Okay, so upgrade 7, 10. 10 point. Wow, you're not messing around here. Okay, you went from in June. Initial version was released to App Store. That's really okay. So yeah, okay. So even though we're on 11, so it's still fairly new, and you got 5,000 downloads, which sounds pretty cool. So you got some momentum there. Face tracking, pause video has risen. So we see if that's on an upward trajectory. App name change from Face Pause, pause any app when you look away, to Face Pause, pause apps with facial recognition. App name changed again on the 11th from face pause apps with facial recognition to face pause apps. So same thing. So yeah, I think it's I think it looks really good. I think it seems like it's still very early because we talked about the first release was only a few weeks ago, and it's going to take a while to get some momentum. But it sounds like it's doing really well. I'm wondering whether or not facial recognition or face detection is what you would be looking for. To me, it looks like if you see that Black Mirror episode where they're riding the bikes and they have to watch the ads, and if they look away, it would pause the ad because they couldn't look away from the ad. And if they skipped it, they had to pay. That's kind of what it looks like. It looks like a really cool thing. And I think a video, I mean, like a video of it working would be like really cool to be able to see. You know, I would say make a video. I mean, is this something that other apps are doing too? Oh, you do have a video. Duh. Stop. Let's have a look. Don't be strummy guitar music. All right. Oh, cool. That's an excellent way to demonstrate it. I don't know if the piece of paper is, but yeah, somehow you've been able to film the screen without getting glare. How did you do that? That's a problem I have to. I think that looks really cool. I don't have very much to say about it because I think it's pretty new, and you have to see how well it does. So, but I think that looks cool. The next one we're gonna look at is App Dark Web from Zombie Masum. App Dark Web. Let's go to. And I always assume that we're looking at Google Play unless you state otherwise, because App Dark Web. Zombie Masum, is that your developer name too? Yeah, it's difficult for me to know which one it is because I can't seem to find it. It's not doing a search on the name itself. Jacob Pumpy, which is the last question we said. How much do you earn now with your apps? Which month is best and the worst? It gets better towards Christmas time, but this month is doing really well. Like purchases are going up, and it has a lot to do with the ads that I'm running. So it seems like January is the one where it's just like really. Like you're on a high from December. Like December, it goes up. You know, the Christmas and everything, and it's not just because of Christmas. Like people like you would think, like people are buying new phones or whatever. It's more like the ad budget is there. The ad budgets are higher. People are trying to run more ads, and then after Christmas, everything just sort of peters off, and then it starts to go up again. So for December is the best one for me. Let's see. Yao Johnny says it just popped in to say hi. Thanks, Yao Johnny. Missed the entire live stream. Yes, you did. We're about to end it here in another minute. BizYG says, bye, Eric. Rohan, bye. Need to head home. Yeah, me too. Troll Nation says they didn't make the animation, lol. Someone made the video review and I clipped it. Really? That's really... no, it's a good video. Okay, last one. Zombie Ninkasi is... Oh, sorry. Zombie Masum is Goddess Ninkasi. Wow, how did you go from... How many names you got? Oh, sorry. Goddess Ninkasi. Here we go. Dark Web. So, welcome to Dark Web. All category, all recent link, details about link, how to connect Tor? Is that the Tor database? Again, I think this is... So welcome to Dark Web. I don't think that adds anything. That's your first screenshot. If you're on a phone, that's the first one you're going to see before you swipe. So what do we want to do? So are you ready to feel the power of the Dark Web? That would be good on there. If yes, then stop reading and start using Dark Web. Hacking, movie. So like these words, hacking, movie, television, music, this is kind of stuff you'd want to put in here because that's where people would see it. Everything just in your hand, don't have to worry about. So I think it'd be more like emphasizing what it actually does. again, I don't know what value I got. This is like, if somebody uses it, then yeah, I mean, what is the value you're going to get from the application? Because it looks really cool. It's one of those things that looks cool. Like I couldn't tell you what it does. And I think it would be if you could like express that in a way that is especially if you're able to capitalize on the feelings of it's us versus them. Like go with it's us versus them, right? The rest of the world thinks one way. You get the inside track because you use this, but you got to say what it does. Like what are they getting? Like no more prying eyes seeing what you're doing or whatever it is, whatever it does. So I think that would be really cool. So everybody, I think I've answered every question, including Ravi's, unless there's some that I missed. But I did try to answer every single question. If you guys think we should change the format of this, let me know, because I know we talked for a long time, try to answer all questions. But thank you so much, everybody, for subscribing to the channel. I hope everybody here has subscribed to the channel, just, because it makes me feel a little bit better. And I hope you've been able to look at your apps. We'll be doing this live stream again next week, Friday night at 5 p.m. And we'll be doing the Overpass Insights video will be out tomorrow. I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend, have a fantastic week ahead. And I'll talk to you guys again next time.
Taking this blindfold off to see what this life's all about. Through my virtues to